Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to bring you up to date on the latest changes. And yeah, like I said in the last video, this track plan keeps evolving. So it evolved once again. So let's roll the opening and get started. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Okay, so right off, let's take a look at one of the changes that I made. As you remember last time, I showed you the corner module that I had built. And I've made at least one change with that, and I'll show you that in just a second. The other thing is, the weather cooperated for the last couple of weeks, so I decided why not go ahead and build the extra 2x4 foot module that I had planned to put on the far right-hand end of the Alexander module. But the track plan evolved again, started playing with it in CadRail, and I decided it would be better to put it down at this end. And the main reason for that is it gives me a little bit more space between switching going on at Alexander and anything going on at Tainbury over there. So you just get a little bit extra space going around this curve with this additional 4-foot module. So that'll be 4 foot plus 2.5 feet plus 3 feet. So what did I do here to the corner module? Like I said, I made a modification there. Well, one of my goals in rebuilding the layout here, once I tore down the old one, was I wanted it to be able to go through the door, out the garage, and into the driveway, and into a waiting truck, either a truck headed for the dump or to someone else's basement where they could have a layout, or maybe even I might move at some point in the future if we decide to downsize. And that would allow me to move this whole layout if I can just take it right through the garage doors. Well, unfortunately, I did not do my measurements up front. Now, yes, there is a 36-inch door going into the garage. So a 36-inch module going through a 36-inch door, that was touch and go. But one of the things you have to remember about a 36-inch door is that doesn't include the width of the door frame. So once you start including the width of the door frame and the angle of the door itself on its hinges, you're down to something on the order of about 33 inches going through that door and into the garage. So this module, which was 36 inches wide at one end, wasn't going to go through that doorway. So I got out my saws, cut this sucker down, and it is now 32 inches wide. So it's not going to have any problem sliding through that door should the day come. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Well, come on in here and I'll give you a look at what's going on. Okay, so you can see here I've got these two modules here clamped together, and I've got another set of clamps up at the other end of this module. And so what I've got to do is I've got to provide holes through these end plates for the accessory bus, the DCC power bus, the DC power bus, the throttle bus, and also I've got to drill holes for the alignment dowels that I use on these modules to connect them and guarantee proper alignment. So what I've got to do today then is I'm going to mark all these, drill all the holes, get that done. So I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to do it off camera because, I don't want to bore you guys to death. It's no real brainer to just space out holes and drill them right through here. And I've shown you in the past how to install the alignment dowels. So I'm going to do all of that off camera. And then once I'm done, I'll bring you back, and that won't be more than about a second. But at any rate, I'm going to be drilling holes all over the place here because not only do I have to drill those holes here in the end plates, I have to do it for all of these cross pieces here on the modules because we got to run those wires through all of these. So we've got a lot of work to do, and so I'm going to get started with drilling all of the holes, and I'll be back here in just a second to show you what that looks like. Okay, so I got all of the holes drilled, and we're now ready to move forward with other things. But first, let me go over the holes and how I did them, because one of the things I like to use are these hole saws. And I've got them in a collection of sizes for drilling holes and installing doorknobs and locks and all kinds of things like that. They're great for cutting a very nice hole. And I think I've got them up to like 6 inches in diameter. And I've just picked these up over the years for different projects here around the house. And for this, I used this one. I think it's about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, something like that. I also used the 2 spade bits that came with the alignment dowel kit from DCC Concepts. So this one here, the smaller one is 13 millimeters, which is about 1/2 an inch. The bigger one is 19 millimeters, which is about 3/4 of an inch. So I use those for different size holes here because you need one size hole for the throttle bus in order for the clip to pass through, or the connector to pass through, and another size for the carriage bolts, and then another size for the DCC power bus and for the accessory power bus. So I think there was a total of 7 holes on each of the end plates that had to be drilled. So let's go ahead and take a look at the holes, and then we'll move on there. Okay, so you can see here the holes that I drilled in each one of these end plates. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different end plates times 7 holes. That's 35 holes. Plus, in each one of the cross members, I had to do the holes for the DCC bus and the accessory bus, as well as the throttle bus and DC bus. So a number of different holes, but once you get going with this, you can plow right through them fairly quickly. So right here we have the DCC bus and the accessory bus. Those are the bigger of the 2 holes. And that mainly has to be big enough to allow this connector here that I use for my buses to pass through. So that's why it's so much larger, even though the wire is not all that big. Okay, so we got those 2. We've got the 2 carriage bolts here that firmly hold the modules together, okay? And those are probably about a 3-inch carriage bolt, something of that nature, that you can pick up at your local hardware store. And these are the alignment dowels that I use. And I'll show you those in just a minute. And I use those on the end plates of all of these modules to get proper alignment every time. Because once you install these, they will line up without any problem each and every time. And as I pointed out, I also did these in the interior cross members. So you can see this member here, we've got the power bus, the DCC bus, the accessory bus, and I cheated and put the throttle bus through right here. So I didn't have to go through the one behind it as well. So saved a little bit of work on that end. So these things, not a big problem. And those hole saws that I used, you can pick those up at Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, any of the other big box stores out there in the U.S., probably in the other countries. And also, I got them, I think some of them, at the local Ace Hardware, which is, you know, there's thousands of those all over the country. So, you know, in the U.S., you can find this stuff easy. I suspect that it's fairly available also in various other foreign countries. Okay, let me show you where these things fit together. Okay, so this is the end of the Alexander module here, and the new 2x4 foot module. And you can see the alignment dowels here. This is the female, and the male is on this side. So when I want to bring these together, let's move up here and you can see how this fits, hopefully. So in this case, you can see the male alignment dowels and the females are here. That mate with them. So all you have to do then is slide these together, like so. Let me get these lined up. And you get perfect alignment each and every time using these alignment dowels like that. Works great. And that's very important once you start laying track, because you don't want to misalign your pieces of track when they connect together. So by using alignment dowels, they're always going to line up perfectly against each other. Now, unfortunately, because of the tariffs, these alignment dowel kits have gotten very expensive here in the US, and I'm not sure about their availability. I haven't checked with Iron Planet Hobbies to see how readily available those are anymore. But I did look on Amazon, and if you just look up alignment dowels, you will find just dozens of different ones available there. And I'll tell you, they're a lot cheaper. Sorry guys at DCC Concepts, but the ones that you can get off of Amazon are just a lot cheaper than you can find from our friends at DCC Concepts. Now I'm using these because I had them left over from the Piedmont Southern, because I used those on the Piedmont Southern previously for alignment of my lift-out bridge, so that it would be perfectly aligned every time I took it out and put it back in. So I saved those when I dismantled the layout, and so I'm able to reuse those here. But I'm running out fast though, so I don't have enough after this job here. I don't have what I'm going to need to build the two reverse modules. But like I said, you can get alignment dowels off of Amazon.com. Just do a search there, and maybe off of eBay too. I don't know. I haven't checked there, but just do a search on either place for alignment dowels, and they'll come right up. Okay, so then once you got these aligned, it's a simple matter to reinstall the carriage bolts. And I use wing nuts because they're so much easier to tighten, like so. They just spin right on so much faster than using a standard hex nut. Okay, so those are good and tight together now. So one more last look here, the connectors between this module and the corner module. And then finally, back here, we're finally connected up to Tinberry here. So, or Teenberry or Tinberry, however you wish to pronounce it. And this will come off next, and I will have a backdrop that goes all the way around and be adding that. So we got a lot of new projects coming in 2026, including installing the DCC system. Now, if you remember several years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I showed you how to build this box and populate it with your command station, your boosters, your power supply, PSX circuit breakers, the whole 9 yards. It's all right here. So I saved this when I took the Piedmont Southern apart, and this is going to be installed right here on this new module underneath of it. And so I'll be able to access it, and no problems there. Also, we'll be adding the wiring for this, because this is going to power the entire layout. And it's like one 8-amp booster will take care of the whole mess. And so that section of the layout to the right there will be powered as one section, one block. So we'll have Alexander and the reverse loop down at that end, plus this module will all be powered off of one PSX circuit breaker. And then the rest of the layout down to my right now, that includes the older module, the Tinberry module, and the reverse loop that will be built for it, will be powered off of a second PSX. And I'll show you that when we do the wiring. But we'll get to that. That'll probably be in the next video. We'll start doing that wiring. But I've got to install the top for the benches here and get those solidified, and then this will hang from the underside of those using some chunks of 2x4 in order to support it and space it properly, so we'll be able to get to it. So that'll be something coming up after the first of the year. And then we can start laying the truck. I've got to go ahead and install backdrops, get those painted and installed and set up here before everything gets to the point where it's not very easy to access it. So a lot to come. In the meantime, if you're watching this on New Year's Eve 2025, have a great New Year's and be safe tonight. Otherwise, if it's after the first of the year and we're into 2026 when you see this video, well, I hope you had a great New Year's holiday and Christmas holiday and are looking forward to a much better and safer 2026. So that's it for now, and we'll see you here with another video soon from the DCC Guide. Bye now.